In 1981, Brixton, an area of southwest London with a large Afro-Caribbean population, was caught in a wave of violence triggered by social and economic unrest. Calm was restored after 2 days, but the events of that time, which is still vivid more than 30 years later, are the backdrop to a new controversial play that opens in the West Midlands later this month. Green Leaves Fall, from the Strictly Arts Theatre Company, is a story of how a young black boy, orphaned by the riots, struggles to integrate into a middle-class world after he's adopted by a white family. Well, the writer and artistic director Corey Campbell plays the boy, and he now joins me in the studio along with Joshua Edwards, another member of the cast. Gentlemen, a very good day to both of you. I mean, it is a very, very challenging theme, but just breaking it down to the core, we're looking at transracial adoption, aren't we?
Absolutely. Yes,
yeah. Why do you think it's still such a hot potato issue?
Well, I think at the moment, even now, people are still struggling to integrate, especially in terms of community cohesion, or people feeling like they don't quite belong to a certain society, a specific social group. So I think that in regards to where we are now, in time, present time, it's still happening, just on a very smaller scale. It might not be adoption, but somebody somewhere is feeling like they don't belong. And I think that's the main theme within the show, yeah. And
you play the boy at the centre of the story, but also as well, you have quite an important role, because, and it's a rather distressing role as well, because you play the school bully.
Yes, it is. I'm the school bully who, being an idiot as he is, really aims his bullying in quite a negative, very negative way towards the race of Corey's character, and it's. I mean, it's quite difficult to play. Yeah. Essentially, what is quite a horrible young racist idiot character.
Yeah, but probably doesn't even think he's being racist. It seems that he just thinks he's being very funny.
He thinks he's hilarious. He thinks he's absolutely hilarious. So he feels like he's getting away with it because his friends are laughing. Because he's the only black kid at the school as well. He's got his support behind him, so there's no reason for him to stop. And unfortunately, this grows into something even more negative.
Yeah, and I think the point that Josh just raised is very important. It's kind of mob mentality where you don't quite understand, but because everybody's with you, supporting you, then something that is terrible and awful then feels okay because you have the support of everybody that's alongside you on that kind of a, you know, crazy, odd, you know, it is never okay, but it becomes okay for that moment.
Because it's something that we talk about a lot in the world in which we're living today, but certainly all those years ago, over 30 years ago, bullying was seen as, if you were a kid, it was an occupational hazard, really. It was something that you had to deal with. Yeah. But was that why you chose to set it in Brixton, or certainly after Brixton, in the early 1980s?
Yeah, there were many reasons, actually, why we chose to set it there, and my main reason was there were so many similarities in 1980s Brixton as there is now, you know, the present day. I mean, the riots, for example, the recession, the unemployment. There are a serious amount of things that are happening now that was actually happening in
it's the radicalisation of someone who, like, in a similar way back then, because Corey's character grows and becomes something more involved in the Brixton kind of riot scenario, and that happens quite often today, where people leave and join these
radical
cults
groups,
and radical groups.
It is something that's happening among young people now, and this was the closest time I could find that was a parallel universe to what's happening at the moment, and I thought that was really important for the play, to not be set in present day, but have the exact same issues that people can identify with.
But do you think that people get that sense of it? Because you're linking two themes, and people would say, well, hang on a minute, you're linking radicalisation that's happening now with the idea of not belonging, perhaps looking for an alternative back in the 1980s, when radicalisation never really entered the vocabulary of the time.
Well, I think what we've done, because we're a physical theatre company, we have to be very specific, and we've put in some movement pieces, you know, physical, visceral pieces that should be able to connect the dots. And as it's a piece that will develop and continue to go into different theatres in different places and in different spaces, what we hope as a company and as a cast, because the cast are very close, and as a team, we hope that eventually we will get it pinpointed in such a way that all audiences will be able to get something from it. But it's in development. We're going to develop it. We'll do the show. We'll develop it again.
And so it just gets slicker as it goes along.
It's something we absolutely believe in, and we're going to build and keep building until it really does reflect the society of today and yesterday.
Then, absolutely. Yeah,
what are these physical pieces? Just describe it in very simple terms.
I mean, it's not dance. It's not at all, but it leads towards something that captures the relationships.
It's an external expression of an internal thing. I think that's the only way I can express it, really. It's an external expression.
So it could just be a gesture or a facial movement or something.
Yeah,
it pulls out of reality and shows you the relationships and what's really going on, because so much of what we do is subtext, and this is where it comes out.
Yes.
Because
yes.
you
with you have to keep them on a journey every step of the way, and we're using different techniques to do that, and really just, like I say, developing it as it keeps moving.
Is that very new in theatre?
No, it's only just been recognised, the physical theatre side of things, but it's not new.
Right,
and,
but in that sense, though, it's been around. It's only now been recognised. But you guys, if you like, the pioneers.
Yeah, I think it's quite new that we've been mixing so much text and so much physical theatre together. That is fairly new. It happens, but very usually they're so separate. There'll be this physical theatre, there'll be this play in the West End. But we've really tried to merge it so it's something that really can.
So as performers, because you are trained actors, that has to be stressed. But as performers and also as a writer and director, this is really very challenging. You're not just learning lines and getting into your respective characters.
No.
You've also got to take the audience on this journey with you.
Yes, yeah. And like you say, I mean, it's a mammoth task. But with the people we've got behind us and the cast that we've got, I mean, it's going so well at the moment, and we're getting so much support from all over the place. We can only be thankful for that.
Sure. I mean, time is very, very tight at the moment, but it kicks off in Coventry on the 27th of April.
We start on the 29th of April.
29th of April, I beg your pardon,
to the
2nd of May.
Yes.
But hopefully you will be coming to London. That's why you're in the capital at the moment.
Absolutely, we're hoping to. Yes.
OK, gentlemen, good luck with that, and thank you so much for joining me here on This Day Live. Good luck with the play.